And here we are, just 2 days away from the start of the SAES series, and we'll be heading to Red Star Raceway for round 1 of this year's championship. My name is Ernest Page, and I'm at ATK Arena in Cape Town, and in Johannesburg, my co-host, Kriya, will be joining us as well. Kriya, how's things going up there in Gauteng?
Ernest, I am super excited. I have been looking forward to this for months. We are in for a massive race season. This is the first GT3 championship in South Africa, plus there's a new format for the endurance series. This means we're going to be bringing you a pre-race show every Wednesday and a post-race show as well.
And we'll be live on the Friday, bringing you all the highlights from qualifying. And don't forget, of course, on the Saturday, we'll be bringing you the entire race live as well with Kriya as our pit reporter. Kriya, I heard they kitted you out with some very fashionable fireproof gear.
That's right, Ernest. I am going to be in the hot action, in the pits and trackside for every race. But for now, I think we need to kick off with the Ferrari clan in Cape Town, Ernest.
The reason I drive Ferrari is the brand's built around passion. And we are all passionate about motorsport, so...
You know, I've been passionate about Ferrari since I was a youngster. My first Ferrari was a road car. My wife said to me, "You're getting frustrated driving this road car because you can't go fast. Buy yourself a race car." I only started racing when I was 24.
I started out in racing about 2.5 years ago. It was Marcel's fault. He got me to buy a Ferrari race car, a GT3 car, one of the GT3s. It was a bit daunting climbing in the Ferrari for the first time. So I didn't know how to drive it. He got me into the V8 Masters. I had two good teachers. The two of them taught me how to drive a race car. You know, they don't mince their words. If you mess up, you get your head taken off. It's not so much the expensive car you're driving. It's the expensive cars around you. When you get to R1 million cars and up, people tend to slide it.
Some people. Some people don't give a Continental. We certainly have a car that's capable of winning the championship. The 458 is an older generation car. It's a normally aspirated 4.5 litre V8 motor, so it's not turbocharged. The upgraded 488 really is a 3.9 litre V8 twin turbo car.
I would say the 458 is more responsive. You know, there's no turbo lag. It, of course, sounds a heck of a lot better.
It takes probably quite an experienced person to tell the difference of the two cars on the racetrack.
I think the strategy or the goal is to always go and try win. You know, we're not going up to this first round to finish 3rd, 4th, 5th. We're going there to win.
This year we've got a national championship category. As most people in South African motorsport know, it's not easy to get. I think it is the echelon, the top echelon of motor racing in this country. If you look at what we're running all top-end FIA GT3 cars from Lambos. I believe we've got 2 drivers that are capable of winning the championship.
That'll be me.
Okay, look, I think
I'm a happy reserve driver, coming when I'm needed.
I think one needs to understand that Jason's new in the sport and he's done exceptionally well in his first outing in the Ferrari. You know, Dane's young, he's a youngster, so he's probably got maybe a 10th or 2 on me. Amongst the 3 of us, I think the lap times are pretty close. And every time Jason gets in the car, he goes quicker and quicker. You know, he'll be doing the 1 hour races all on his own. He won't be sharing them. Me and Dane are going to be sharing the drive. Possibly because I'm not fit enough to do a whole hour on my own, you know. These youngsters are.
Well, Jason thinks he is. We'll see shortly.
So my first paycheck I bought a go-kart. And that's how I got involved in motor racing. My late father was never interested in it. Always told me it's a waste of time and a waste of money, so he wasn't interested in it. And then, you know, that's how I got involved. And then Dane came around, and he got involved, obviously because of my passion. I got him involved in karting, and obviously he's grown into it as well, and he's grown into a fantastic driver coming through the ranks of karting. You know, Jason's like a lot Lomaki, if you want to call him that, because he's only started racing cars, as I said, 2.5 years ago. So that's really late in life for anybody, especially at this level of competition. So that's the AUTOHAUS Angel branding, the AUTOHAUS Angel racing scenario. Jason's come in as a driver and a huge sponsor of the team, and the 3 of us together, we're hoping that at the end of the season we can show our competitors like Stradale and Scribanti Racing. We're going to show them the middle finger, you know. Okay. So we go to the racetrack, we take it seriously, but at the same time we have a lot of fun. The fun normally happens at the end of the day, after race day. That's when the fun starts, you know. A couple of B&Cs and a couple of things like that will go down. And especially if we've done well, you know, we'll have a big party afterwards. And that's just the kind of whole vibe that we enjoy about racing.
That was some very impressive stuff from our Ferrari team down here in Cape Town. But Kriya, I understand you're outside a very special workshop.
Yes, Ernest, that is right. I am in Benoni outside the workshop of Franco Di Matteo, a long-time competitor in South African motorsport. Now, the backdrafts are filling up a lot of places on the South African Endurance Series. So let's find out a little bit more about these cars.
Look, the concept is a very, very good idea with Tony Martin and Brian Martin. They came up with a fantastic idea of building the same car, a Cobra. They're all the same, all same chassis, same engines. The concept is very, very good. Just a little bit of keeping track of what the guys are doing, because most of the guys have got the cars, and car owners, cars get rented to some of the drivers. So the cars have to be vertically standard as they came from Tony Martin and them. You're allowed to do your own setup, all those little things, change brakes and get the car sorted. Engine-wise, gearbox-wise and diff-wise has to be standard. As it came from the factory, that's how it has to be. You can't go and change gearboxes and put fancy stuff in it. Then it just gets too expensive. So the basic, what Tony and them tried and do is keep a car that is at the same value, can't go and put expensive tires on and just run away with it. So it's a standard and controlled car, and that's what we like about it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Been out now a year after having COVID quite badly, so I said to Willie this year, you know, we take our racing seriously and definitely to go for their championship this year.
It all revolves around the setup of the car and the guys behind the steering wheel.
I don't feel it's too big. We can manage to pull it off this year. I'm 100% sure we can do it. And if we can't do it, it's always next year, but hopefully it is what it is. We'll stick it and burn it to win it.
I will run their car for them. I will look after it and set them up. And, you know, we had the best car last year. At the end of the year, we had the best car. The car was very quick. It was very well set up. Eventually, Brandon bought my car. And, yeah, we're going to be running his car, and let's see. So I know what the car can do, so he's got no excuse.
I think it's the competitiveness, you know. You've got Cobras mixed with Lamborghinis, with Ferraris, all that type of thing. And I mean, if you have a look at it, overall index last year, it was actually a Cobra that won.
I think with Brandon and Willie in the car, I need to have a good prep talk to them because they're a little bit rough at the seams. They haven't raced for a whole year or two, basically. So I think with a bit of coaching, with my bit of experience with their driving style, I think we will be there because they've got a good car underneath them.
Well, I always enjoy the challenge. Growing up in a little farm town, so if it's not a challenge, it's not good. So I'm quite enjoying this.
It actually makes it exciting because you know, you get the guys that will look at the backdraft, you get the guys that will look after the little minis and golfs, and then you get the guys that actually go look at the extreme supercars, you know, with the Lambos and Ferraris and that. So it's a mix. You know, if you look at sports cars all over the world, it's a mix, and that's what you want.
100%.
The concept of the backdraft cars is very interesting, and it's going to add a cool competitive element to this year's racing. Now, Ernest, I heard that you're at HARP Motorsport. Tell me a little bit more about it.
Thank you, Kriya. And yes, I'm outside HARP Motorsport to chat to Steve Humble about their epic 2022 campaign.
Hi, my name's Steve Humble. I'm from HARP Motorsport in Cape Town. We concentrate mostly on sports cars, but we do sports cars, single-seaters and some saloon cars. We race prep the cars, we build the cars from scrap, and we also restore older racing cars as well, bring them back to life. We've done a lot of work for some very prominent customers. This year we're going to bring the Ginetta G57, Pilbeam MP84, possibly the Pilbeam MP91. They're all special to me. They all have different plus points and different negative points. The Ginetta is probably the most modern car out there racing and the most competitive car out racing. Currently it still holds lap records at a number of circuits around the country. The Pilbeams, obviously being built and designed to run at Le Mans, are very, very competitive, even though they're a little bit older. The Ginetta is just the latest evolution of what is essentially a reworked LMP3 car. It's got more power, it's got bigger aero, it's a relatively easy car to run, providing you understand what you're doing with an LMP3 sports car. You have to bear in mind that with these cars and the older cars, they were all designed to run for 24 hours continuously, and that makes a big deal. This year, there's just the one class for the sports prototypes. They're obviously the class of the field, and they're the fastest cars out there, despite what the GT3 cars might think. They still hold their own. It's going to be more interesting because the classes, there was a lot of classes in previous years, but essentially at the end of the day, people are looking for the outright wins. We consider anybody that can run near the front our biggest rivals. The thing with the SAES and endurance racing, it's all down to how long you spend in the pits. There's very fast cars, but fast cars can also be fragile cars. The competitors are racing cars that are not being used every day on the circuits around South Africa. So you've got cars out there which have got particularly good history where they were run both in this country and around the world. I went to my first Le Mans in 1983 and I worked at Le Mans for 2 years in the early 90s. We've got cars that have competed in both America, in the American Le Mans series. We've got cars that have run in Europe. There's 2 here now, but they've only ever been seen on TV, or if you're lucky enough to live in Europe and see the cars racing. So I think people look around at what they can race and what gives them good value for money. We know that to run the Ginetta is cheaper than running a GT3 car. It might sound surprising, but it is. The motors and everything on them is designed to last a lot longer with less maintenance. So driving the Ginetta, we've got Craig Jarvis, he's the car owner. He shared the car in the past with Stuart White. Stuart is renowned for being an extremely quick and up-and-coming driver. He's raced extensively abroad. Craig's raced abroad himself. In the Pilbeams, we've got Francis Carruthers, who's the owner of the car. Francis is a gentleman driver, but he's raced for a very long time from Formula Ford through various different sports cars. He shared the car with young Umpi Swart, who also proved to be very, very quick in the car and adaptable, coming from a front-wheel drive and karting background. Myself, I've run the other cars and have been racing for far too many years. Over the time, I've raced everything from saloons to older cars right up to the LMP cars. So driving an endurance race is totally different to driving a sprint car race, because at the end of the day, you've got to consider everything that's out there to bring the car home. And you're racing against cars that are both as quick as you are and also a lot slower. And lapping can be the problem that causes you to not finish the race and therefore make it a complete waste of time. I suppose one of the funny things that I remember, though it was quite terrifying at the time, was racing in PE and following a car through the S's there, and out of the back of the car came a complete electric wheel gun wrench, bounced on the track and bounced over my head. I didn't actually pick it up, I just told them where to go and collect it. Didn't think it was funny at the time, but funny afterwards. But we've had some good races, and that's the other thing with the SAS is the guys, they're all competitive, but they'll all be prepared to help each other out. And generally, there's always good feeling and vibe at the end where everybody gets together, has a drink and congratulates each other.
Well, I had no idea that we had a Formula One workshop right here at Killarney in Cape Town. But enough from this province. Kriya is heading over to Vereniging to go chat to the guys at Ultimate Outlaws and find out what their plans are for 2022. Kriya, over to you.
Yes, I am. Now, there is no way that we can start the season without chatting to one of the majority shareholders in SAES. He's also a team owner and a competitor. Let's chat to Isaac Spies from Ultimate Outlaws.
It's something we worked hard for. A bunch of gentlemen that came together, and Aldo Scribante started it, on a Serviette, and we called us together at I think it was at Swartkops or something. And it started there. It's grown since, from humble beginnings to where we are today. Obviously, we have to give credit to Roger Pierce, who, had done a tremendous job to build the foundation. And obviously, we just took over. People must be a bit patient with us. I think we obviously brought in a lot of technology. Well, I think, for instance, what we're doing currently. is to have a lot more awareness. Facebook, Instagram, having chat shows, having studios, having interviews like we do at the moment. Also, when it comes to the racetrack itself, live TV coverage in terms to make sure that the quality is right, the hardware, to make sure that we have the best. What a pleasure or honor for me to drive with a pro like Michael Stevens, because it puts me in a much more, I would say, a mentor position. He with me because he teaches me a lot. I've learned so much from this guy, and that experience comes to us. So it's very important. As an amateur, you can now enjoy, because he will bring the expertise actually to the car and to the racing. This is a platform that we've created for international awareness. And we've already joined last year the Kailami 9 Hour. And I think some of our youngsters already got attention through this platform. So definitely this is the place to be, and this is where you want to be. And it's a much cheaper version in South Africa than to go overseas. I mean, if you think in terms of currency value, so there's definitely a chance here. Zolile, as my friend and as my partner, has done so much for the sport. Just for instance, Africa Race Together, the foundation was formed. We are 100% behind him. And I think it's about time that we have a collective, sport of all South Africans. And it's dear to me, and I'm very proud of it. That's why I'm wearing it. This is really, really proper machines. I mean, you can relate to them. They're in the street. Yeah, you can see them actually race together. The sounds are unbelievable. Actually getting goosebumps here. It is so amazing to see them and to hear them. And I think to see the professionalism of the teams, we've also made it very interesting with pit stops. So the teams are getting involved, the mechanics, they have to put fuel, they have to change tires. If you choose your favorite, it becomes really something to watch. So it's a lot of entertainment.
It is so nice to hear about all the changes that Isaac and his team are bringing to the Endurance Series, and I cannot wait to see them in action throughout the year. But that's not all we're bringing you for 2022. We're also bringing you the virtual SA GT Series. And Ernest, you've made your way to our sim racing partners down in Cape Town, ATK Esports.
That is indeed right, Kriya. I am here at ATK Esports, and we've got some big news to announce this year. This year, there will be a virtual GT series, and that GT series will be run on a game called R Factor 2, which is used by the likes of the virtual 24 hours as well as Formula E. Now, each round, there will be a virtual round that includes qualifying and 2 one-hour races. And drivers like Luca over here might even stand a chance to test a real GT car as well as a potential season drive in the 2023 season. So if you are a South African citizen residing in South Africa, is he a South African citizen, by the way? Be sure to enter this once-in-a-lifetime competition. But for now, it's my turn. Kriya, over to you. Excuse me. I'm gonna just take that off over there.
Well, that brings us to the end of the first pre-race show. But I can't leave you without giving you all the details about this weekend's program. So on Friday, Ernest and I will be coming to you live from Red Star Raceway with a recap and a look at the competitors and the teams. On Saturday, it's bright and early at 8 o'clock live from the racetrack. 8:30, we're going to be doing a grid walk, and then the first race, the SA GT race, gets underway. At 11:45, it's race number 2 with the 4-hour endurance starting at 3 o'clock. Between each race, we're going to have first reactions, podiums, and the official press conference. So lots to look forward to this weekend. If you want to attend in person, make sure you get your tickets from the gate. For myself, Kriya Gangia, we'll see you at Red Star Raceway.